Hey, welcome back. Keep It a Buck podcast. Here we go, episode 2. You get a clap. You get a clap.
Sir.
Yes. All right, we back, man. We shot episode 1. It's a success, and we got more in store. But first off, a lot has happened over the last, I'd say, week or so. We're gonna get a little this way and then bring it back up this way. But James Earl Jones. The voice of Mufasa, played in Coming to America, the voice of Darth Vader, legendary, passed away this week. We had Frankie Beverly, before I let you go, rest in peace. And then, man, Rich Homie Quan.
Yeah,
I remember at the door, showing you the tweet, man, of Rich Homie Quan, allegedly had an overdose or whatnot, but shout out to those fellas and their families, man. Rest in peace to each and every one of them, man. But it was a rough start the last week, man.
Yeah, that was tough. That actually happened at the end of our last episode.
The last episode, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So rest in peace to those gentlemen and blessings to their families and everybody involved. So let's get into it, man. Let's
dive in.
A lot of great things been happening, a lot of weird things been happening. I noticed something. There's a Super Bowl situation, halftime show. Jay is over, and Jay Hove, my favorite hip hop artist ever. Jay being a strategic partner with NFL, helping out with the entertainment situation. They chose Kendrick Lamar to be the halftime show of Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. It's a certain somebody from New Orleans that does music and wasn't chosen. And I know that he wanted to be chosen. Lil Wayne, Lil Weezy, that's kind of wild. What's your thoughts on that, Doc?
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy. I know myself and where I'm from, we was brought up on the Carter, you know what I'm saying? The Carter 2, the Carter 3, definitely doing
Drought, dedication.
Oh, man, you name it. We was raised on that.
Yeah.
So you would think it'd be ideal to have a Lil Wayne, somebody of his, his legacy and what he's done here, for music, and it being in New Orleans, that's kind of crazy.
It's too perfect.
But I'll say this though, Jarvis, I challenge you. I think it's deeper than music. I don't think it's just music with this.
Talk to me, because I got a feeling.
I think it's deeper than music, bro.
Talk to me. I have a feeling too about what's going on, but talk to me.
I only say that because remember a few years ago, there were some situations that Lil Wayne was dealing with, that whole kind of came in and helped him with. And allegedly, I believe he was supposed to sign with Rock Nation at one point. When him and
he released, what is it? I heard it was because of taxes. He released a mixtape called Free Weezy.
Yeah.
I believe that helped him get out of a tax situation. But go ahead. Now go ahead.
So once again, allegedly, we don't know the truth about everything, but there was some things going on where him and Jay-Z was supposed to do some type of collaboration or something in the future after him helping out with some of the things he did. And then how, ironically, the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, and you don't go with, by far at this moment, the biggest artist, from there. But I don't think it's just solely based off music, and nothing against Kendrick. I like Kendrick too. I think right now where he's at, he's definitely hot in the market.
He beat Drake.
But
he did.
I think it is a little wild to not have him. But I will say I can see him being somewhat a part of it. Do you think Lil Wayne is still want to be a part of it if he's not the head?
That's my point, right? So my point is, I think it's a ploy. I think it's to get more people talking about. Okay, it is September, right? We're talking about the halftime show in September. Normally, we probably know who the artist is, maybe, but we're not talking about the halftime show like that. So I personally feel like, okay, you know what? Let's cause a little drama. You know how media do. I guess I can say now, you know how we do. Whatever it is, but you know how media do. They're going to bring attention to it. So I personally feel that they purposely chose Kendrick. Get it in everybody's mouth that. The Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans, but we're not choosing Wayne. We're choosing the artist who just won beef of the decade, you know what I mean? And they're going to still bring him out,
I think so.
So I did read something where Jay is still thinking about bringing him out. He gave a lot of kudos to Kendrick, gave a lot of kudos to Wayne, but he almost has to bring him out. But now we're talking about it, we're here, it's more traction now.
So, and that's why I think
it'll be the biggest Super Bowl halftime show in a long time.
I think it get touchy though. I think it get touchy just because for him to not be headlining, right? It's like, am I secondary? You get what I'm saying? Like, K Dot, then I gotta come on like in my hometown where I'm from, where the people know me from. I'm sure he's thinking it should be Lil Wayne, and if we wanted to bring a K Dot or bring somebody else, but even what about other, artists from New Orleans? You see what I'm saying?
You know what? I thought about that. The thing is, let me go back a little bit. The LA show.
Okay.
The LA show, they had a lot of artists from LA. They had some people from New York too. They had Mary J. Blige, they had 50 Cent, they had Eminem from Detroit. But the main two was Snoop and Dr. Dre.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, one, be the devil's advocate a little bit, they don't have a stipulation where every single halftime show has to be with an artist or the premier artist from that city. Right. It doesn't say that. However, it's Wayne we talking about.
Correct.
This is Wayne we talking about. And like you said, it's a lot of artists from New Orleans. Imagine Wayne coming out, Juvie coming out, BG just came out of jail. You know what I mean? Like imagine, they're from Baton Rouge, but imagine Boosie, Webby, joining in, right. making a Louisiana thing.
Right.
It'd be big, but I think you almost have to acknowledge what Kendrick did here in the last year. You know what I mean? Sure. Like he killed my man, like literally. Man, that's the biggest hit. Like, didn't he pass like streaming? Like, not like us pass like streaming records. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think it's a ploy. I think it's to get, the Super Bowl into the mouths of these, viewers, and these folks at home, and it's working. It's working. We talking about it right now. Yeah. We talking about it right now, but we gonna watch. I guarantee that.
Oh, 100%.
I guarantee that.
One thing people gonna do is definitely tap
the very
in.
minute Baker Mayfield incomplete the pass.
Pause, bro.
You hear what I'm talking about?
Who?
You heard what I said. The very minute Baker Mayfield
Baker?
All right, probably Jared Goff or something, but I'm just saying. The very minute one of them quarterbacks, one of them quarterbacks throw that incomplete pass and go out to halftime.
Okay.
We all gonna be tuned in. We all gonna be tuned in. So no matter who doing it, I'm gonna watch it. But I'm from the South. Lil Wayne just one of my goats. Hov is my goat, but I think he was a little off with this one. He was a little off.
So you don't like this? You don't like this pick?
No. It should be Wayne. Okay. It should be Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne he deserves that. To have a hip hop artist be a strategic partner to the NFL. I think Rock Nation is literally a strategic partner to the NFL for entertainment, including the Super Bowl. When you have that, I think you need to make sure that you're giving the people what they want. Because that's the reason they're in that position in the first place. The reason they're in that position is to give the people what they want, and give the people kind of what they're asking for, be that voice of the fans. Okay. And so the voice of the fans, I guarantee more than 50% of the fans are saying, a milli, we want to hear that. We want to hear that. So, it is what it is, man. It's going to be a great game. Whatever it is, it's going to be a great show, I'm sure. Speaking of show, spectacle of sorts, on your head, Nebraska.
Ooh,
Nebraska,
boy.
This past week, we had, Mr. Primetime himself. And speaking of primetime,
yes, sir.
We had Deion Sanders visit Nebraska Cornhuskers. The Colorado Buffaloes went up there. Wasn't a good showing. It wasn't a good showing, but you got a special tie to Nebraska.
Yes, I do.
Talk about it.
First of all, let me talk about the atmosphere there, man. The atmosphere was electric.
The video you sent was wild.
Oh, man.
Sent me a video that was crazy.
Electric. Shout out to my boy Will Compton, man. He's doing the damn thing out there in Nebraska, man. Also, shout out to Bussin' with the Boys.
Facts.
His little pregame show, bro, it got chills through my body watching that thing, boy. He did it. He did it, man.
Right.
But my nephew, man, Justin Evans, man, he started left guard at Nebraska, man. So it was amazing to get out there with my family and watch them boys play and run it up. Run it up. I mean, we talking, what was it, 28, I believe, nothing at the halftime or something like that. It was crazy.
I bet the over and lost too. I needed to go over 30, but it didn't. But whatever.
Crazy atmosphere, man. And I will say this, I've been biased a lot.
Yeah.
I've been biased a lot because I don't watch a lot of Big Ten football all the time. Playing in the SEC, man, you always compare things to when we play Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, right? You compare it to those type of environments. But, man, the Big Ten is crazy. Like, Nebraska is
the new Big Ten.
Yeah. The new Big Ten. It's crazy. The people that just came over and what they doing there,
for sure.
It was electric. But I say this, man, and a lot of people, I see, Deion getting a lot of stuff going on with the team. As a dad, holla at me on this. As a dad, how is it being the head coach and also having two sons that play One of them, I think did he fracture it or did he break his
So
wrist or forearm or
he
something?
fractured his forearm.
Okay.
Right? He fractured his forearm. I don't know how long he out.
I think 2-3 weeks I read.
Yeah,
I
the
think earlier
fractures are
today.
better. People don't understand. Fractures are much better than tearing a ligament,
Right.
or whatnot. And so he fractured his forearm. I think he played the rest of that drive. It was a drive that he played, and he went off on the sideline, went into the locker room, but he had played the whole drive with a fractured forearm, And so, to be honest, to go into the point you're talking about, clearly, Deion is Deion at Colorado.
Correct.
I coached my boys in elementary school and middle school, but, you gotta figure out, one, what's the best situation for the team, right? Because you want your son to play.
Absolutely.
No, if any coach says that he does not want to do daddy ball, you're lying. But at the end of the day, you have to have the betterment of the team at the forefront, right? So I think he has that, and him coaching his boys, I think he's done a wonderful job. I do think Shador is a top quarterback. He treats him like one.
Yeah.
Shiloh is a hard-hitting safety. I think covering is a little, as far compared to others, it's a little, shaky. But at the end of the day, he's a good player. He deserves to be where he's at. And I think Deion does a good job of, making everything relative to what is actually in front of him. If his sons are the best players, they're gonna play. If they're not the best players, they're not gonna play. He's taken them out before. He's taken them out of the game before. He's left them off of the field before. So, you got to find that middle ground between success and wanting to see your kids thrive and having an actual hand in them thriving,
No, I agree, man. I like Shiloh as well. I like his game, man. I feel like he found a way to be around the ball.
Right.
And that's great as a middle field safety. You see what I'm saying? I think as he
do play
learned.
free.
Yeah, and he get in the mix sometimes. He get in the run game too, man. He attack you. And that play he actually got hurt on, man, as a safety, that's a great tackle, bro.
Yeah,
you got a running back running at you full steam. The only thing you can do, you see what I'm saying, is get your leverage, get down and make the play.
He was untouched, right?
He did a good job. He was untouched, he did a good job of that. But I also question, what's the mental like, right? Outside the head coach, we all know you're a father first. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And even with coaching a team, and I get it, team, I personally think that it takes a toll a little bit, knowing that your son did get hurt. You get what I'm saying? And you got to factor that in, and you don't know how big is the injury. You get what I'm saying?
And you can't focus on it.
And you got to play the next play. You got to stay the course.
Right.
I think that's a little challenging at times.
That's different.
And as we both know, man, Shador is definitely a top quarterback. I hope and pray the line get it figured out. They got to protect that boy. It got to a point where I kind of felt bad for him, at some point, because he can't really showcase what he can do when not having enough time. When he got sacked 4 or 5 times, 6 times in the first half or something like that. So it's definitely something that got to get tightened up out there in Colorado. But the atmosphere, man.
I believe I saw it.
Man,
I'm telling you, sent that video.
Crazy.
Y'all said on the 50?
Yeah, we was right on the 50. We
That's
actually got to pull that clip up, man. We got to pull that clip up one time and show y'all what that was.
Check that out. Yeah, that's awesome, though. I had never thought that Nebraska, you know Nebraska from history, right?
Yeah.
You know Colorado from history. I never thought Nebraska would have an atmosphere like that, an aura like that. It felt like it was jumping. Compare it. Nebraska on Saturday.
Okay.
Trying to think of who they would play that's comparable, against the Swamp. It looked as if it was one of the better atmospheres I had seen in a long time. Just look, but you were there. Talk to me.
I'm going to be honest with you. And this going to sound crazy. Y'all don't fight me on this one.
You about to say it?
Listen.
You going to say it?
Listen.
I shouldn't have asked you that.
That Florida State, Tebow senior year, I've never seen.
Okay, I thought you was going to Nebraska, dog.
No, not at all.
Okay, I thought you was going to go.
I like Nebraska. I like it.
Okay.
But when I tell you everybody had their phone out, you see what I'm saying? The lights going crazy. It was like, I think it was Tebow last game, and I've never seen a stadium lit up so much with all the stars that was there. You talking about the Pouncey twins, Joe Hayden, Brandon Spikes, Amar Black, Major Wright, Tim Tebow. A lot of these legendary guys to where it was the biggest show, you get what I'm saying, in Florida during that. So it's tough because I get it. We're going off Tim Tebow and a lot of greats there, but I will say it's not that big of a gap no more for me. You see what I'm saying?
Between the Swamp and everybody else.
Yeah, it used to be the Swamp or the SEC ball was here. That's kind of how I felt, but going
That's how we felt.
And once again, we're talking about Nebraska and Colorado. Like, there's other Big Ten big ball. You get what I'm saying? Yes. The Ohio State, the Michigans, the Penn State. Like, you talking about those guys, like, that's a huge alley. I would love to go. Matter of fact, we're going to do that. We're going to go to a Big Ten game. We're going to go to like a Michigan, Penn State, or Ohio State. Something we got to go out there and experience.
UCF play Colorado soon.
Ooh.
Shout out to my guy. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Kinsey. Anthony is the director of strength and conditioning at the University of Central Florida. So we're going to have to, we might have to make that work. I mean, clearly Deion has sold out all these tickets. So, I believe that.
Hey, another thing real quick with Nebraska, if I read this correctly, I think Nebraska over the last 40 years have sold out every game.
I can see that.
40 years, bro. That's
what is it to do? I mean, what is it?
It ain't nothing else.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you right. It ain't nothing else.
College World Series.
You're not doing
Cornhusker
else.
football. Like literally College World Series Cornhusker football. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think you'll ever go back? Oh, you will.
Oh yeah.
Your nephew.
Sure.
Nephew, play ball out there. How you think he did?
I'm Nebraska out.
How you think he did?
He did a good job. Hey, you saw that play he pulled.
I saw the pull.
Got busy on that play.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So he looked like he looked like he's a little shorter than the rest of the line.
Yes.
But his hands, his hat and hands, his aggression is a little different. It's a little different. Y'all some hitters.
I'll say this with him in regards to the size and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's by far, in my opinion, probably one of the most athletic O-linemen that I've seen. You know, and I compare that to the Pouncey twins. Like, they were athletes playing the O-line, pulling and doing everything else. He might not have the height, but he's quick, right? He's explosive. He got good hands. You get what I'm saying?
Very explosive.
And also, he can take coaching, man. So one thing about that kid, man, is deeper than football. He's a student athlete. This man got over 4.0. You get what I'm saying? So, like, he's into the books. Smart kid. We don't have to worry about him, man, and that's all you can ask for.
Say that again. Don't have to worry about him.
No, we ain't got to worry about him. He's going to do the damn thing.
Is he going to play on Sundays?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just because of where he's at, how far he want to learn, he's staying afterwards. He in his playbook, he's asking questions. They got a great team out there. Matt's doing a great job with them guys. And his O-line coach is a guy, you know what I mean, who got the experience to kind of put him in position. I will say this, I do see them possibly moving him to center due to the height.
I almost said that, but I didn't want to disrespect linemen. I know that a lot of guards and tackles kind of switch, based on their skill set. But when you hiking that ball, it's a little
keep it a buck.
It's a little different.
Keep it a buck.
Talk to me.
That would be ideal. You get what I'm saying? It would be ideal for him. You 6'1", 6'2", you're probably going to get moved kind of in that area. Just so it balance out for him. And I think
he looked like a prime Jason Kelsey athletically, 100%. Like for real.
Yeah, I mean the kid did track like he's an athlete.
He did what?
The track. He didn't run. He threw the shot.
Okay. Track and field. Track and field.
Let me throw the field on there.
Yeah, I was about to say track and field.
But nah, smart kid, man. Extremely smart kid.
So you can help him out with, like we talk about his transition, though.
Yeah,
you can help him out with his transition.
Absolutely.
You said 4.0.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. You don't have to worry about him. That's like every parent's dream, to never worry about your kids.
Of course.
You know what I mean? How do you think his transition will be compared to, some others or whatnot?
I would say his transition going to be way better than mine. Right? Because I went through it already, right? So I got to see the highs, the lows of it. But this kid is calling me damn near every week asking about LLCs, businesses, how to open up this, a credit card, right? Like, so he's a step ahead. I wasn't asking those questions.
He got it at all.
Okay? I wasn't asking that. He's already studying the real estate. You get what I'm saying? The things he want to do. He's saving his money. He's not keeping up with the Joneses. He's not buying all the luxury stuff. So the fact that he's a step ahead of that,
shout out to him, dog.
Yeah,
shout out to him,
man. I love my little nephew, man.
Shout out to him, dog.
Like I said, a great kid who's eager to learn, and eager to ask questions on how he could become better off the field and on the field.
That's fire. That's fire. So flipping to the other team, Colorado. The outlook of Colorado. What you think on that? I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck.
Please do.
Right. I'm not a fan of the flack that Deion Sanders gets on a regular basis when it comes to winning and losing. There are people who have built programs over the years. Bobby Bowden at Florida State, I say the guy at Penn State. You know what I mean? Like, they have built these programs over the years. The Jim Tressel at Ohio State, the Urban Meyer at Florida and Ohio State, and even at Utah or whatnot. Those guys had time. They had time to develop, time to build, time to go through the motion, and go through the ugly to get to the promise. You know what I mean? And I personally feel that we've been following Deion on social media so long, we think he's been at Colorado longer than, what, 14 games?
Correct.
It's been about 14 games, give or take. You know, like, let's give this man time to find coaches that gel with these players, find players that gel with, you know, playing his style of football. I think once he does that, and he's going to do that, I think they're going to be successful, but it's going to take time. You have to give the man longer than literally a year and a game or two. It's coming close to North Dakota State. So what? Like, there are people who have come into, did you lose to an FCS school when y'all were in there?
No, I don't believe so.
And he hasn't either, you know, and so North Dakota State is an FCS powerhouse,
Yes, sir.
you know. At one point, they won
pretty
4
good.
straight.
They
Pretty
got
good.
They got a good coaching
They've had
team
2 top 3 draft picks in the last 10 years.
Yeah, they're not
2.
slouches. They're not
At
slouches
all,
at all.
you know. So we got to give, in my opinion, we have to give him time. Let his transition develop, you know, because everybody has their own transition. Let his transition develop. Let him get his players. Let him get his coaches, because everything ain't going to be perfect on the first go round.
Right.
How you feel about that?
I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
However, I feel like what's difficult is it's like anything else. These fans are cheering for instant success, right? They're so eager to win now, right? Because it's been a
Everybody's
while.
win now.
it's been a
Everybody win
while.
now.
I hate to say it, it's kind of like being a Jags fan too. You know,
Right,
even playing
right.
here and now and being a fan of the game, it's like, even with a new coaching staff, we're so eager to win because it's been a while. Like, hey, we want to get back on top, get back on top. You got to have some grace. You got to have some empathy. You got to give Prime time, because you also got to look at it. He's coming into
That
a
was
situation.
fire. That was a bar. You got to give
we gotta run
Prime
that back.
time. Run that back.
Yeah, we got to give him time and grace, because
Yeah.
he's also changing the culture of this program. Do you know how hard it is to change the culture of something, right? To
Yeah.
revamp things up and bring in a new staff, a new mindset, right?
Yeah.
And it take a lot of people to buy in. If I can remember correctly, Jarvis, didn't you mention something about he had, 30, 40 guys hit the portal, or so many different
Oh, the
transfers?
most, yeah,
the most.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know the number, but it was something
It's like
that.
45
For-
kids
That's
that are brand
crazy.
new from programs where
Crazy.
they've seen something.
Crazy.
They think it may work, may not
Right.
work. They have
Right.
expectations.
Correct.
You don't enter the transfer portal for no reason.
Right.
You have an expectation of, I'm going somewhere to play more
Correct.
or to get in a better situation.
Right.
You know? So, and he can't fulfill the happiness of all 45 of them. You know, that's crazy to even ask that.
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy to ask
I think it's challenging when you're dealing with that. You're trying to put a team together. It's not like back then when you knew the team you had, the team you can rebuild. These are guys that are going to probably be here next year
Right.
and the following year. No,
Right.
if it's uncomfortable, if a player don't like his situation, he's out of there. That's just kind of how
Gone.
things are going.
That is
so
true.
I think if we get this probably another year, you get what I'm saying? I would
Right.
say, another year to kind of really revamp and get everything going. I think Prime will have the team he wants, the team he needs, and also a team man that'll be able to lead them to victory.
It's going to be a team without his sons for the first time
sir.
next year.
Different.
They're not going to be there.
Different.
Well, knowing what's going on right now, Shiloh mess around and gonna catch a gray shirt. He gonna be there another year. But if everything works like it's going, like it's seemingly going to work,
Right.
he'll be a coach for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, like ever, without his boys.
Different.
You think it's gonna be crazy? I think we'll see a better coach. That's just my opinion.
Why do you think
more
that?
focus. He about to focus more.
So you don't think he's
been
focused now?
If he focuses 99% on his team and 1% on his boys, and then the year after his boys are not there, it's going to improve the focus on his team, because it'll be 100 and 0, right? He can't talk to his sons, when they're playing for the teams in the NFL. He can talk to them, but as far as like when he has to plan and prepare, like he got mid-game, he can't walk with his son. I'm about to hit like Jim Harbaugh does on the whatever. He don't do that, but he can't walk down that sideline with. We about to walk down the sideline with. He not doing that. Right. Now it's full focus, because when he walk in that sideline with Shador, he's dad. He said it. He said, "I'm dad when I'm walking with him." So let's say that's the only time he focuses on his sons more than the team. That little piece right there, like, it's going to somebody else next year, and I think it's going to be a little better. I'm not saying it's a detriment now. But I just think it's going to improve upon the entire team in the landscape. Definitely do.
Interesting.
I didn't say this in the beginning, but please, I'm gonna drill this in you guys' head. Like, comment, subscribe, click that notification button so you can be updated on any and every post that we upload to our channel. We need y'all support. So I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna say it at the beginning, middle, and the end. Just understand that. But speaking on, again, transitions, still keeping it, what we like in that sports, but a little more controversial, Mr. Tyreek Hill, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have my feelings about, policemen and law enforcement, and I respect everybody, right? But my man went through something that I hadn't seen ever, right? Especially in the area, for those that, missed out on what happened, I'm sure you can catch up on it, but Tyreek Hill gets arrested or gets handcuffed before the game, hours before the game, around pregame meal time. I want to say it was like, you eat pregame meal 4 hours before the game, It was around 9, 10 o'clock, and my man got put in handcuffs.
Crazy.
In front of, come on, bro, in front of the Hard Rock Stadium. What went through your mind when you saw, Tyreek Hill is handcuffed right before he's about to play, as far as one, what his mentality was, right? And then two, what were them cops thinking,
Well, from our view, right, we kind of saw him being on the ground, right, through somebody else recording.
Look familiar, right?
And off top, that was complete nasty work, by the way. Okay, complete nasty work.
Big time.
That should have never happened. It should have never got to that point, regardless of what happened.
Yeah.
I did see him go on and talk about he could have handled it a little bit better, right? We kind of saw that aspect of it. We understand that. It's the heat of the moment. It's game day.
Yeah.
You're damn near half a mile away, if that, from the stadium. There's a lot of feelings and emotions going on.
Half a mile.
Right. To be pulled out the car is just crazy. And I'm sure these officers at some point realized who this was. You get what I'm saying? What's going on?
Yeah.
It should have never got to that point. He should have never ended up face down with a cop on his, to me, that pissed me off and put a bad taste in my mouth with that. And in regards to that, man, I want to share a situation with myself that happened to me in regards to just the police out that way. I was training in Boca, right? I'll tell you how crazy this is, right? So this was after the season. This was my senior year going to the combine.
Right.
So I was there. Agent had us staying in a nice little place out there. Facility was probably about 10 minutes away. And as I'm driving home, I'm probably literally a minute away from where I was staying at the time. I get pulled over.
Right.
2 cop cars behind me. I don't know why I'm being pulled over, right? So I'm just, complying with everything because I'm confused that was what. So the cop come up to me. So I asked him, hey, officer, what I do wrong? You get what I'm saying? This is random. So the first thing he did was sniff and say, I smell marijuana, right? Mind you, I'm training for the combine. There's no way I'm smoking, knowing that in a few weeks I'm gonna get like it. And plus, I'm not a smoker, so it's just like, wow, you lying,
right?
So whatever he tried to do, give yourself probable cause, whatever the case may be, call a backup. So I'm kind of getting nervous because I'm like, dog, I'm in this area that's predominantly white area, that we're staying in. I'm probably the only black guy right now being pulled over. It was extremely uncomfortable. They brought the dog out and everything, and the guy basically was like, hey, we've been getting a lot of rental cars that, been coming in and out with drugs in the car, blah, 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 like we're gonna check the car. Now, a part of me kind of wanted to fight that, to say, nah, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're not, going in the car, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like people looking at me, grandma out the window, auntie looking, it just was like, dog, I wanna get through this as quick as possible. So I ended up getting out the car, they searched the car, it wasn't nothing in it, but I felt violated. You get what I'm saying?
You in the neighborhood?
I'm in the neighborhood. As they pulled me over, I was pulling in. So it was embarrassing because now these people don't know I play ball in there. You get what I'm saying? They don't know what's going on. Like, it looked like the typical situation. All black guy driving a nice car, get pulled over, probably got drugs in the car, and they had no reason at all. I did nothing wrong. You get what I'm saying?
When you have a perception like that as law enforcement, first off, we say it a lot, it's cliche, but I'm sick of saying it. I'm sick of hearing it. That they have a responsibility to keep the peace. Mm-hmm. You have a responsibility to de-escalate all these situations, especially when there's no threat on your own life, right? Tyreek Hill admittedly stated, I could have handled myself better.
Correct.
But let's be honest, let's keep it a buck. He's being modest, right? Mm-hmm. He's touching all, bases and covering himself, dealing with PR, dealing with the Dolphins, making sure that he's politically correct.
Correct.
And covering himself, and he's good. But when we're talking about a nation that's been on edge for the last forever, right? But on camera, we've been on edge for the last 20 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? heighted escalation, heighted edge on the last 10 years, and you have the actual audacity to pull a black man out of the vehicle because he got smart with you.
Right.
Put him to the ground and start power tripping and threatening not only just him while he's on the ground, now you're threatening. Calais Campbell was out there.
Correct.
There were other players out there. I heard him say Jonnu, talking about Jonnu Smith, the tight end. You're now threatening all these guys, not give me your ID.
Right.
Now you ready to go to jail. I'm putting you in cuffs. He's saying it like almost as if he's just started that day. Like you had to start like 3 hours ago, you know? Either that or you're inebriated while you're working? Like what are you, how could you even, you're in Miami too. You're in Miami, you're in front of Hard Rock Stadium. You know who this is.
Right.
You know, my man was just voted #1 player in the NFL on NFL.com, and you know we all see it, you know? Now, I'm not saying he has that type of, I'm not saying he has that type of visibility where Michael Jordan known by people grandma and they don't even know about basketball.
Right.
There's a lot of people that don't know who Tyreek Hill is, but enough people know, especially in front of that stadium, to know who that is. And you knew what you were doing. You were power tripping.
You know,
You were power tripping.
what's sad and what's nasty about it all, it don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter how famous you are.
Right.
When you getting pulled over, we also know this. You're still a black man in America.
Hello.
Okay? It don't matter who you are and what you do.
Hello.
And the fact that we have to act accordingly to what can possibly happen. And keep this in consideration. The worst that can happen is you can die. Like that's factored in. This could be the last time.
That's crazy.
No, seriously.
No. We know. It's crazy to even think like that.
Right. So the fact that that's on your conscience, that I'm one thing away from something going wrong, or him, mistaking what I'm saying, or I'm frustrated, right? Let's go ahead and put in, we have bad days too. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to always be our best, right? It's their job and duty to protect, and like you said, de-escalate the situation regardless of what's going on. But I hate to see it, man. I hate to see our people being in that situation and it leading to that. It could have definitely been handled better on both ends, as we saw. But even with him, what kind of ticked me off too, when he said, hey man, I just had surgery on my knee, and the guy mentioned something about, you're going to end up needing surgery on your face or something like that. It's like, now we're talking about pride and ego at this point.
Come on.
Right? Like now you're bothered. You see what I'm saying? Like you're in your feelings at this point.
You're pushing him, and you want him to say something.
100%.
You're ready to do something. And now as a black man, we have to think,
100%.
what are you ready to do?
Come on.
Now you're ready to do something clearly. You're trying to provoke an action from me.
Correct.
And now it's like, what is it? There's some people whose pride is a little bit, it's not like mine, maybe not like yours, and not like Tyreek's, to where they're going to go, well, what you going to do? Now imagine, he go, well, what you going to do? Because you just prodded and pricked at him for a reaction, and now you give him that reaction, like you said, it could end up in death, man.
So here's a quote I live by.
Crazy.
He or she who angers you controls you. Never give somebody the satisfaction of a reaction.
Say that again, bro.
He or she who angers you controls you. Never give somebody the satisfaction of a reaction.
Word.
And there comes a time in our life where we have to really practice that. We can't give somebody the upper hand of that, right? We got to be one within a moment to say, I'm not going to allow you to have control over how I feel, regardless of what's going on.
Right.
Because the minute I do, you now have control.
Right.
And we see situations like this go left all the time. Let's go ahead and say, thank God it was Tyreek Hill. You get what I'm saying?
That's big. Because he said, what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? Yeah, thank God it was at that time.
Thank God it was him and not another brother out there dealing with
And respect to those who it wasn't Tyreek Hill. Respect to those families and those people.
Because it is Miami, and a lot of people do drive nice cars in Miami, right? That happened all the time, definitely by the strip. So we're definitely grateful that it didn't get to that point. But it's nasty, and at some point, man, it got to change. It got to stop. We can't keep having small situations like this turn into big situations. So I hope and pray, man, that they get this thing figured out there with the police department there. But there's just no room nor space to ever pull a guy out his car seat and have him detained that way. That's just nasty work.
If he was not black,
it wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't even come close to happening. And I'm tired of, like I said, a lot of this stuff becomes cliche and we're saying it over and over again. But I'm tired of you looking at me, you being law enforcement, a boss on a job, an educator that I'm in class or whatever it may be in your life, in your transition, in your walk, whatever it looks like, stop looking at me and having a preconceived notion that I'm not worthy of good treatment. You know, stop having that, dog.
Let me ask you this, Jarvis. I know you said you haven't really been in those type of situations, but if you don't mind me
Bless
asking,
it
and
be.
keep it a buck.
Yeah.
You now currently, if you're pulled over by the police,
Mm-hmm.
what is going through your brain? Like, regardless of what you might be pulled over for, what are you
Right.
processing at that time?
So the answer, I actually just got pulled over, not once, but twice by the same cop.
No way.
Okay.
What are the odds? The same guy.
I got pulled
This
over
was
by
in
the same
Jacksonville?
cop in Jacksonville, right off 295 in Mandarin. I got pulled over by a cop. He told me I was speeding. At the time, I had, and you know this is the truth because I don't know nothing about cars like that. I had a misfire in one of my cylinders in my truck.
Right.
And so at the time, I can't go over 70 miles an hour. So I'm cruising on the side. I can't get over because, you know, that there's cars and vehicles there. So, you know, cops, when they're on the side of the road, they want you to, when they're like, you know, scanning and seeing what your speed is, they want you to get over. Well, I couldn't get over. I think he was upset that I didn't get over. Boom, hopped in the car, came after me. You know, told me I was going 82 in a 65. I'm like, sir, I can't go over 70. I don't, like,
He was capping.
you know, and big cap. So to your point of being able to control yourself, he's telling me like, nah, you're going 80, you're going 82. And I'm like, sir, all I'm gonna say is I'm not calling you a liar. I'm not saying that you are fabricating anything. I'm telling you this truck at this moment can't go over 70 miles an hour or that thing start to jerk, you know? He telling me, I say, you know what, I'm not even gonna say nothing else. You know, what do you need? License registration, boom, here you go, gave me a ticket, whatever. Paid the ticket, and that was on a Tuesday at around like 7:30, 8 in the morning. I come back, I go on a trip to Vegas. I come back, you know, I'm working, doing normal stuff. 3 weeks later, Tuesday comes. I'm in a gas station. I literally go, I'm hungry now, right? I'm hungry a lot. But I literally go, I'm hungry now. I'm going to McDonald's.
Right.
I go across, it's across the street. I can literally throw a softball through the window and hit somebody that's that close. I go literally across the street. I cross 3 lanes to get into the turning lane, and I hear boop, boop. Pulls me over. I'm laughing at this point. I'm like, dang, police, state trooper.
Right.
State trooper, Florida Highway Patrol. I'm not on the highway. I'm in McDonald's.
Right.
And my man pulls me over, goes license and registration. Bro, I look out of the window. As God is my witness, I look out of the window and I'm seeing the same guy and I go, nah. I go, you lying. I know you lying. I literally said that out loud. I go, I know you lying. And he literally goes, license registration. I'm like, I just start laughing. He goes, what's funny?
Did he know when he saw
What's
you?
funny? He knew.
Oh.
He knew. He 100% knew.
This
And
is,
so,
you was in the same car, right?
bro, I was hot. Yeah. I was hot. I'm hot about it right now. Thinking about it.
Yo,
You know,
being
I'm
pulled
hot about it right
over
thinking
while
about it.
being big back is
Being
crazy.
pulled over. So I got pulled over, and he gave me a seatbelt ticket this time.
Oh, man.
Gave me a
Now
whole
he just
seatbelt
being
ticket.
petty at this
So
point.
yeah, he
just
being real petty. Being real petty at that point. Gave me a seatbelt ticket this time. So when he gave me the seatbelt ticket, I didn't say nothing. I left. But to answer your question of how you handle situations, I always think in my head, I got to get back home.
Absolutely.
I just got to get home. You know, say what you want, say how you feel, talk about me, say whatever you want to me about me, whatever. I'm not going to take disrespect, but at the same time, I got to get home. I got boys.
Right.
If I lose my life or if I lose my wheels, you know, and I fall down and I fail because I got a little slick out the mouth or I didn't handle the situation well or somebody else didn't handle it well, I don't know what my boys would think of me, you know. I got to get home. So at the end of the day, you know, that's all I thought about. So it's a couple $100 here and there, you know, and pay it and go from there. So, you know, I feel bad for people who have to deal with not just being pulled over by cops, but dealing with their day. You're dealing with who that cop is, and you're dealing with their day and how it is at that moment. And I'm telling you right now, just get home. Just get home. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know how they're going to wake up with that gun in their holster. You don't know how they're going to feel with that taser in their left hand. You don't know if they just got broken up with. You don't know if they're going through a rough time, if they're about to get fired. You don't know what people are dealing with. So when all else fails, just get home. So that's wild that you went through that, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's actually kind of wild. So anywho, I I want to take a moment really quick. We're going to wrap it up here soon in a little bit, but I want to take a moment to get into how you feel about not just transitions in general, but the transition of this pod. You know, the transition of this pod. What do you want the people to get out of us chopping it up, talking? Because I know what I get out of it, right? We've been rocking for a while. What do you want the people to get out of this podcast every single week?
Man, one, I'm excited about the whole process. We've been talking about this now for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think people get to see us actually talk about certain ideas, creativity, but also seeing how human we are, right? Some people might look at me from, you know, being fortunate to play in the league that I'm probably this guy, I'm somebody I'm not. Like, I'm real chill, and there's so many things that I love to talk about and express that people can kind of relate to as well in regards to family, football, life, entrepreneurship, mental health. There's so many topics, man, we'll be diving into to kind of talk to you guys about. And sometimes we also like to hear y'all opinion about what you're dealing with and what you're going through too. So utilizing this platform to talk about the harsh reality, transitioning, sports, and just life in general. We're both dads. You get what I'm saying? We're both dads. So to even talk about making it home, that touched me, right?
Yeah.
Because whether I'm traveling or what, that's always my goal, right? To make sure I make it back. I do whatever it takes to make it back home to my family. But like I said, man, there's going to be so many cool things that we're excited to talk to you guys about every week that we'll be doing here on the podcast. And once again, is to be truthful and always keep it a buck.
Always, though. I will say this about the entire show, right? We have a story to tell. Everybody has a story to tell. My biggest thing is you can hear the story all you want. You can interpret the story all you want, but you're going to live your life the way you're going to live your life. Everybody is. The best way we can live our lives is to gain perspective and then operate outside of that. You know, whether you pull from a couple people's perspective here and there, or you take your experiences and you put it up against other people's experiences, and then you see what to do, what not to do, you know, and how to make everything work for you. And so my goal, you know, similar to yours, my goal is to get our perspective out there so somebody can see, you know, oh, I was in that situation, you know, or I played ball too, or I just went to a Nebraska game. Well, not a Nebraska game, I just went to a Ohio State game, a Florida game, a Miami game, and I felt this way, I felt the same way. And people can not compare for the wrong reasons, but put alongside their experiences and perspectives alongside ours, and then go about their life, whatever it looks like, just a little bit better that day, or a little bit better at that moment, you know? Feeling good about there's people out there that think the way I do, talk the way I do, walk the way I do, all of that good stuff. And I said it last week, I'm saying it this week, I'm excited, though. I'm excited. There's one more thing before we close out, really quick. We had a tie that we didn't talk about last week. We had a tie, all right? What's that tie? The Florida Gators. Oh, yeah. Right? With Pop. So we
dropped that.
Yeah, so my biological father, you know, he was no longer here. He's with the Lord right now. He was a safety and corner for the University of Florida from 84 to 88, played DB, went in the second round to the Miami Dolphins, played about 6 years, and, you know, that tie is wild, obviously. Florida ties. We played DB, you know, there for, you played for 4 years. 4 years. 4 years. You played for 4 years. And obviously you got drafted. You played for 4 years in the league, you know, so similar time frame or whatnot. And I just always think that tie is cool because, and I was born on the campus too. I was born in Shands Hospital. I was born on the campus. Yeah, I was born on the campus, and so I'm Gator down. You know, I'm Gator down for life.
I like that.
For life. I'm Gator down for life. Now, when my son go to school, I'm gonna look like you with the hat on. You know, when my son go to,
I had to represent today.
I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of what school we might go to. You know, hey Cristobal, talk to me, man. You know, he can go to the U. You know what I mean? You can go. That'd be crazy.
The U.
That'd be
crazy.
crazy.
You got ties with the U too, don't you?
I do. Hey, so my stepdad, Pop. That's my guy, though.
Yeah,
man.
ties with the U.
Darryl Oliver played at the University of Miami. You know, similar time frame that my father played at Florida, and Pop went to the league, played for a couple teams. You know, and his transition is wild, and we'll talk about that another time. But his transition is wild too because he a country boy from East Palatka. Let me stop. Hastings, Florida. My fault. I tried to do the big city to the little city, but You know, he's from Hastings, and I'm telling you right now, like his transition is different because he went straight into education, and obviously he married my mom, and he went. You know, I'm not his biological son, but me and Pop rock out like we, you know, like we blood. You know what I mean? So much love to him, and much love to, you know, my father, you know, who was in heaven or whatnot. But I just wanted to mention that tie real quick.
I'm
you know
glad
what I mean?
you brought that back
Yeah,
up.
man, we forgot to talk
Big
about that
Gator
last
ties,
week.
man.
Big
Shout out to Gator Nation, man.
Big Gator. Everything good?
Everything
You straight?
solid. I feel amazing.
That's cool, man. We tried to keep it a buck, and a buck was kept.